ist Weltmeister!
Mario Götze! Mario Götze!
Tonight, whether you call it football, or soccer, a German American and a German in America dare to call it Fußball. German foosball from an American point of view. Let's add some buns to that hamburger and join them for the Schnitzel Boys Deutschland Hour.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
We're here on a Tuesday night,
Yep.
not a Monday night because we had scheduling stuff and life happened.
Scheduling
so we
stuff. Things happened.
And we are
it was
I'm fresh off. I'm fresh
my
off
fault.
the New York Rebels game right now. But we
I know
decided
you are all. We are all buzzing, but that'll
I'm
be an
buzzing.
hour two. We will
Hour
curb
two.
our enthusiasm for this Germany hour, which is going to be more somber. I mean,
That's right, because that happened. We had
Except-
some today, but that happened over the weekend. We'll talk about that, do that, and then in the next hour we'll get into our MLS. But we did it Tuesday night because both of our teams are in Ohio this weekend, and just about half an hour ago we found out both results, so we can talk about both of them tonight. But we will save that for the USA hour.
yep.
But we got Deutschland hour, and
This
this
is what
past
they
week
call-
in Deutschland we had
It's what they call a tease in the business.
it's a little teaser trailer.
A tease.
Tease. I miss old school trailers. Yeah, I miss the ones from the '90s. Don LaFontaine, Hal. I forgot his other. I forgot. There's like 5 or 6 of them. Their voices.
you're
defined
talking about the
my
narrators.
generation.
I could not.
Yeah, way
I
back
do-
in the
I do
day.
not. I don't know those names.
He was a lawyer, but good at his job. And
In
this,
a world
In a world.
where
Which is how we did. Which is what
that's
I told
how
our
we
intro
do it.
guy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what our intro is based off of. Nowadays, for years now, I think it's this one. Maybe you know them. There's this one company who cuts all trailers. It's just what they do for a living.
Oh,
They do all of them. They've been doing it for years. What a great little racket. And they keep it very simple. They got rid of the voiceover. They put a cover of a famous song over it, and then they just do quick cuts, and then there you go.
Yep.
So, and that's what trailers are. That's what they've been for the last 20 years, and I hate it. It's like row,
You're
your
against
boat
it.
gently down the stream or something. It's like some song cover.
It's true. It's true. It is sort of like that.
And then it's like, hey, we need to do this thing or whatever. They're just all the same. I want an old school. I want the 90s trailers to come back.
The
I want
90s
in a world, yeah.
trailers, when there was still
Something.
gratuitous violence in movies and sex.
That's right. When rated R was a thing.
When rated R was a thing.
Rated R is long
Exactly.
gone. They haven't had rated R in years. The Expendables is PG-13, I think. Could be wrong, but
Well, I mean, those guys, they have no energy for either sex or violence.
yeah, they're all retirees at this point. But the original Die Hard has a very famous catchphrase. And then when Live Free or Die Hard came out, it was PG-13 because movies weren't making rated R movies anymore. So at the very end of the movie, he says the catchphrase, but he covers the swear word in it with a gunshot because that's how they had to do it. And it's like, what are we, children? Come on, it's fake, gratuitous violence.
I know.
Anywho,
It's a shame. It's a shame.
It's a real shame.
Speaking of gratuitous violence, Bochum played again this weekend.
Yeah, they got a beat down. They got a beat down. Are you surprised, Bjorn?
No, I didn't even watch it. I was in. I mean, I shouldn't probably say this on our Germany Bundesliga centric podcast, but I looked at the schedule and I had a run to do. I was going to go on a lengthy run. I was in Vermont and I was like, am I going to go? I had to decide. Am I going to go watch Bochum against Bayern or am I going to watch Arsenal against Liverpool? And I voted for, it's like easy decision.
I don't blame you because Arsenal versus Liverpool. It's exciting. I mean,
It's
I
a
don't
banger.
know.
Yeah, that was a
Exciting.
banger
Hey.
and it delivered.
Well, who won? Was it Liverpool who won that one?
It was 2-2. Arsenal played quite well, had 2 leads, and then both. Mo Salah. Mo Salah, who's on my fantasy team, so that was also a happy.
You talking Bochum now? What are you talking here?
No, I'm talking Arsenal against
Bochum
Liverpool.
had 2 leads.
Bochum is not going to have a lead for the rest of the season again.
Much less twice. I'm being a little facetious here. Yeah, no, the Bochum game was not described that way. I actually watched that game. I watched that game. Bayern Munich, comfortable 5-0 victory after their disappointing midweek performance against FC Barcelona.
Oh yeah.
So we got Champions League last week, which didn't really touch on.
So what
last
is
week.
your since you watched the game? Did you see any signs of life on our end?
No, not at all. No.
No.
Who is the new guy? It's the youth coach.
Well, they had
something?
they it's now a duo. There's two of them.
Hey, that always works.
And they, yeah.
Of all the great duo coaches in history,
yeah,
that have won all those
there's
titles.
when you
Remind me,
if one coach can't do it, maybe two can. That's been the problem all along. We did not have enough coaches. These two guys have both been assistants, and so they're interim, obviously. A new Sportdirektor is gonna come, and then they're gonna
fix it all.
Assuming it's a he, probably a he. They usually are he's, but we can just go with they. Once they arrive, they will hire the new coach.
Well, can I liken Bochum to a situation going on in England? Apparently, your favorite league. Apparently, skip Bundesliga game.
just that one time.
There is a club in England called Manchester United.
Yeah,
we don't talk about it much on ESPN. Usually, it's rarely a topic. They don't talk about it. But something happened at Manchester United this weekend. They fired their coach.
Mm-hmm.
So Manchester United fired David Moyes. They fired Louis van Gaal. They fired Jose Mourinho. They fired Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They fired Erik ten Hag. They fired Ralf Rangnick. They got rid of Cristiano Ronaldo. They got, getting rid of people seems to be how they solve their problems. Now, it's been about 10 years since they've won a title, so I don't think any problems have been solved.
What do you mean? They won the FA Cup last year.
Oh, was it last year? Oh, I guess that's okay. I guess I stand corrected. But they haven't won any league titles or Champions League titles.
In the Premier League
right now.
In the Premier League, they've been struggling. Yes,
struggling.
That is true.
And
it's
I
funny
can't help but wonder. So I'm likening it to Bochum because it's like, for crying out loud, everyone's talking about this new Portuguese guy they're talking about. It's not the coach, for crying out loud. Now I look at Bochum; they fire their coach every 6 months. It was Manuel Baum. Who was it 2 years ago?
Who?
The guy who went to Schalke. Who was the guy who went to Schalke?
Thomas Reis. He brought us up. Then it was Thomas Letsch. Thomas Letsch. Don't think so.
Oh, and then Peter Zeidler.
And now Peter Zeidler.
And then he was fired. So I've got a fourth guy coming up.
Yeah.
So
or gal.
Or lady, that'd be nice.
Unlikely. I mean, let's be honest, probably not.
Birgit Plinz? I think it's Birgit Plinz.
Let's go. I mean,
think that'd be great.
It's the rest of this season is bonus time because there ain't no way. They could bring in Pep Guardiola. They could bring in Pep Guardiola and they would still get relegated, this squad. So it's not going to matter. And so we'll see. So we'll see what happens. But it's funny that you make this connection because I similarly did because
it's not
Manchester United. Well, but it came up in my world because it was Erik ten Hag got fired after losing to West Ham United 2-1, while Diogo Dalot, who's also on my fantasy team, Sitter doesn't even describe it. He he was past the goalkeeper, and all he had to do was roll it in, and he inexplicably hit the ball really hard and missed the empty goal gaping at him. And so that then became the straw that broke the camel's back, and Erik ten Hag got fired. So I was like, if he makes that, is he going to keep his job? And similarly, the same thing happened in Hoffenheim. If Lukas Daschner makes the penalty kick and Bochum gets a point, that means they don't fire everybody, most likely. So, yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
in the
and
end,
the other
in
side of
the
that equation is Hoffenheim. I mean, if Bochum did get that equalizer, they don't get
yeah,
fired.
then
But maybe Pellegrino gets
Pellegrino
fired.
Matarazzo is toast. But he's
Maybe
still
he's
gonna get. The thing is, all these regimes are doomed anyway. So if it's this week, next week, or 2 weeks ago, it doesn't matter. These people were all gonna get fired, and Pellegrino Matarazzo probably as well.
The writing
Not
is
gonna
on the
make it.
wall. How do we say
Not
that?
gonna
in
make.
German?
Not gonna make it to the end of the season either. So it's
Is there a German
like
expression for that? For writing is on the wall. I know in English it's a thing.
das zeichnet sich ab.
Was that? That means what's zeichnet?
It
That means it shows
means
itself. Shows its true color?
Das zeichnet sich ab. It sort of means it's kind of, yeah, like the writings on the wall. That's how you would translate it. It's
Yep.
it's like
Writing?
there are some signs. Es zeichnet. There are some strong indications.
Well, Manchester United, they're excited to get their new coach as their problems will continue and not be solved anytime soon. But with VfL Bochum, we talked about this, I believe, last week, how to fix Bochum. Do they need a new sport director? Probably, but they also need maybe a little bit of
Well, they
investment.
did because they fired the old one.
Yeah, now they know they literally do need one now, just for like they need someone. What I'm saying is, was that the fix?
Sport director? Yes. They
do need one. They do need one legally, I guess. However,
there's no controversy.
There's no controversy there. Was the performance of the sport director beforehand the reason they failed? And kind of like you described on the field, like Giago Dolo missing the open goal. Is there an off-field version of that where it's like, yeah, you fire the sport director, but the board gave him $0 for the year? You know what I mean? Like maybe his fans are behind his back, and then the new guy comes and says there's a new sport director, and at the same time, some angel cash injects a little money in the club. Then he makes a signing. All of a sudden, this new sport director is a genius, and the last guy is not. Maybe there's some of that going on at a boardroom level. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that version of it.
Well, my impression is, yeah, the squad's not good enough. But you're right. I mean, the money is the money, and they are not. They just spent what they have, and that's. And this year they had a lower budget than last year because last year there was some transfer fees. We've talked about this. So yeah, and
Like
I guess time will tell. Time will tell if this squad can amount to something. I mean, right now, it was the perfect storm up to this point where the squad is bad, so there's no room for error. And then the coach played a system that didn't really even complement the players that he had. So it was really everything was wrong up to this point. So to be determined if there's any life in this group at all on a Bundesliga level.
And Bochum was already eliminated from the Pokal earlier this
year.
Yeah,
lost to Jan Regensburg immediately.
All right. Yeah.
So that's no, we didn't. We had the day off.
To regroup and to find that new sport director on Transfermarkt. What they do is just googling it up, and then you press the button where it says latest available.
What I hear, what the German language outlets talk about is that the Sportdirektor, it was kind of not so much his transfer policy that got him the axe, but just he was apparently also internally not well liked. He had made some
toxic.
He wasn't a good communicator among the. I mean, it just seems like everything. Oh, we didn't even mention the CEO, the president, also stepped back. So everybody's gone. The whole. He said something about like a health thing, but it was not a health thing. He was just kind of.
He's 21.
He just ran a marathon and then decided to.
You just won a marathon.
At the end of the marathon, it's like I feel a little woozy. No, he is an
his
old.
PR was not one of his strong suits.
He's an older man, but he did step back because in order to avoid getting voted out because the annual meeting is coming up or.
Quit before they fire you. 100%.
Yeah, exactly. That was his.
how many more signs do you need? You need to put your hat in the ring. Right
They
up the
wouldn't even let
CD,
me. They
email it
wouldn't even
in.
let me become a
I
member.
know,
I
but
don't think
this
they.
is different. Just email them, be like, I know you want to let me be a member, but will you let me be CEO? Because the rules are probably different.
Because
The
since
rules are probably different.
I'm not doing anything, and I live
will-
close by.
I'll come by. Don't even worry about it. I'll split my difference.
I'll
from
do
you
it.
and
I'll
you.
do it over Zoom. I don't.
Do it
I
over
mean,
Zoom.
I wouldn't. I don't think I would do it any worse. I think there
I was
is
gonna say,
no.
there's no disadvantage to like you could do
The
it.
bar is
What do they
low.
do really?
Just
Generally, I'm
like
curious.
just saying no when they're. I should just have a special position, and they should just ask me. Should pay me like $500,000, and then ask me on any transfer, and then I would say no, that's a dumb idea. Like 3 times a year, and it'd be worth the money for them.
Yeah. And then you try to get him. You just send Jimmy Sands over there.
And then I just
There
send
you go.
Jimmy
Win.
Sands, right? Ugh. Yeah, everybody quit. So it's a new dawn for Bochum, and it's
Burning that
gonna
house
be.
down.
But
to
all
rebuild.
roads are leading to Bundesliga 2 this year.
Hey, the land of Hamburg, Köln, Schalke.
The Super League,
Super League, the
the
Deutsche
true
Super
Super League. We're gonna join.
Right.
We're gonna join the Super League that is Bundesliga 2. Yeah.
Kaiserslautern. Yeah. Now you can leave the likes of St. Pauli and Heidenheim in the Bundesliga. You need to go down to the Bundesliga 2. You need to get yourself some Köln and some Schalke. Now, well, that is another day in the life of Bochum, but we'll be watching with interested eyes in their development as they may be trade. Still, how many weeks? What is it? What round is it? Round 9?
No. There is no.
Come on now, believe. It's
They're,
round 8.
they're 3 points out of 16th place. It's not like this is in any kind of. This is not a mathematical anything. And of course, whoever is becoming the new Sportdirektor and the new president and the new coach and the new guy who washes the clothes and cafeteria lady, everybody's gonna say that they're working to hold to keep the division. But because I don't work for the team and I'm not even a member because they wouldn't let me, I can tell you the truth here on the Schnitzel Boys. This team is going down.
Well, hold on. With the new kitchen lady will come in. There'll be less diarrheal problems, which is probably plaguing them this
that's
year.
what it?
Fresher
that's what it
fish.
was?
Fresher fish.
The this is
Fish
the
with the
captain. The captain finally spoke up. We have food poisoning every. Seems to be the
Columbus.
obvious thing we should eliminate. We should eliminate the rotten herring from
Fish. I don't care what deal you have with
it's
expired
delicious.
food
We
for-
can't resist it. We have to come back to eat it, but it is past its expiration. So we got the shits every week. How can we win a game?
Yeah, they're called the Schnitzel Boys. You know that episode with Jerry Stiller for the old Seinfeld episode where he cooked the raw meat in the Korean War? Remember that episode?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Well, anyway, it's a legendary episode where he thought he was a great chef. This was George Costanza's dad, played by Jerry Stiller in Seinfeld. And there's footage of him trying to make old meat work, but he just like completely food poisoned the entire regiment. It didn't work. And he was like, didn't want to talk about it as a shame thing. Anyway, VfL Bochum, it's still early. They believe 2 words to fix VfL Bochum, Bjorn. Gio Reyna. Come wintertime, get that loan. Let that boy play. Let that boy fly. Gio Reyna style.
We take him. I don't think. Yeah,
Should.
Dortmund not in the habit of loaning us players. But
Speaking of the Rhine, and speaking
the
of
Rhine,
young Americans,
we were not speaking of the Rhine.
Well, Bochum. Oh no, sorry, the Ruhrgebiet, the Ruhr. Sorry, thank you for correcting me. Speaking of the Ruhrgebiet, the German Rust Belt, where Bochum is and Schalke is, so is I was about to say Borussia Dortmund.
Oof.
BVB.
They had a
And
rough.
there was an exciting Yanks Abroad news this weekend as they played their young 18-year-old American over the weekend. A guy I've had my eye on. We haven't spoken about him out loud because I have a policy where I don't like talking about kids super much.
Oh,
But
yeah.
what's his name? Cole Campbell, young 18-year-old American who's crushing it in the BFL 2. Yeah, Cole Campbell came off the field and made his senior team debut over the weekend. So that's all I'm going to say. We got our eye on him. Borussia Dortmund did win that game. It was a 2-1. Wait a minute. Lost to Augsburg. Did Borussia Dortmund lose to Augsburg over the weekend? I thought they won. Sorry.
They did lose. Yes, they had a terrible week.
Oh, crap. What am I thinking? I'm thinking of last weekend. Borussia Dortmund lost 3 games in a row. Okay, so Borussia Dortmund lost to Augsburg the weekend. Young Cole Campbell was there. That's the one bright spot at Borussia Dortmund. But Borussia Dortmund, we're talking about coaches on the hot seat. Pellegrino is definitely on the hot seat. But Nuri Sahin, a hot, young, new whippersnapper who was a Borussia Dortmund legend who filled in for former Borussia Dortmund legend Aiden Terzic, is on himself quite a losing skid. They lost 5-2 in a crazy Real Madrid turnaround last week in Madrid. They lost 2-1 to Augsburg over the weekend, which they shouldn't, and then they just lost 1-0 to Wolfsburg today and were ousted from the Pokal, which is one of the very realistic titles that they can win. So how much longer does Nuri Sahin have? What's that German phrase again? Das Schreiben up, what's it again?
Es zeichnet sich ab that he will also lose his job. Yeah, I mean, that was already a week ago at this point. But the second half of the Real Madrid game was just grotesque from a coaching perspective. Like, he had a 2-0 lead and then completely switched his system at halftime. Lined up Emre Can against Vinny Jr. on the right, and then doubled down by bringing. I mean, it was just like,
in Vinny Jr.'s defense, he could smoke. I've seen him more than once. Just like last year in the final, he smoked whoever that was, Mats Hummels or whoever. I thought he was, and then I see him smoke Joshua Kimmich. Like Vinny Jr. smokes down that left flank. And
you got to find somebody else than you have. They have faster players than Emre Can on that team.
Emre Can notably slow.
I mean, it was, yeah. He's not long for this world. We liked his enthusiasm. He's a local favorite, much like Aiden Terzic was, but it's maybe time for a real coach again.
Yeah, I agree. I criticize Aiden, and the new sport director who replaced Watzke was very aggressive this summer. They bought a lot of players.
They have a good team. Yeah,
I can't criticize Borussia Dortmund's front office right now. Their front office is doing what we've been criticizing them for a while now. They did not become a selling club this summer. They became a buying club, and they bought Maxi Bayer. They bought Guirassy. They bought quite a bit. They bought Waldemar Anton,
Pascal Gross, yeah.
Pascal Gross. They bought the German stars this summer, and to win. So the next step is
they have a whole
get them a coach. It's weird how they went young and inexperienced with the coach with all these players. It's like get your hands on a Lucien Favre, or I thought they should have never let Marco Rose go. Maybe Urs Fischer, maybe it's his time to shine. He's still out there. Oliver Glasner would have been a great choice if he wasn't picked up by Crystal Palace. I know I'm already speaking ahead here, but I do think Nuri Sahin's days are numbered over at Borussia.
Es zeichnet sich ab.
Es zeichnet sich ab. The writing is on the wall.
Marco Rose is doing well with RB Leipzig. They've given up 3 goals all year.
Amazing. And for a front-footing team like RB Leipzig. RB Leipzig's been a little quiet. Marco Rose has been a little quiet over there. We do keep our eye on them every now and then. But I think this year is slowly becoming perhaps an opportunity for them to shine. Bayer Leverkusen settling back into sort of their old role, as last year is proven to have been maybe more an exception as opposed to the rule with them. No shade at Bayer Leverkusen, but Bayer Leverkusen has a fraction of the budget as these other clubs, so they do have to,
But they kept everybody. It's a little bit of a mystery what's going on there. They've.
But still, to me, it's a momentum thing, right? Like playing towards the end of a season is one thing, but then you have a summer break, and then it's a sophomore season. It's hard to keep that spirit alive, I think, for anybody.
I mean, after you have a season like that, there's a little bit of a hangover probably, but it's still, Time will tell. Union Berlin is back in a Champions League spot.
Hey,
That's
I
not
think
something we would have thought.
yeah, it's also probably not something that they want. I mean, the Champions League almost killed them. Maybe they should stay out of the Champions League for a bit and solidify them. Or if they do it again, maybe they learned not to buy 30 new players over the summer.
I mean, I think that's probably a point to make about RB Leipzig. You know, where continuity pays off. You know, they didn't get a lot of new players, but they kept a lot of good players. And then sometimes you just need a couple years for things to really come together. So the constant, you know, let's find somebody else every couple months. But then on the other hand, if you're sticking with somebody who is just not working for very long, then that also, yeah, we'll see. Nuri Sahin is not it. And well, in the US hour, we're going to talk about coaches that have overstayed their welcome. Another tease.
Teaser. In a world where MLS coaches have overstayed their welcome.
Where the longest running coach, in a world where the longest tenured coach of a team cannot hit the broadside of a barn with his. Anyway, yeah.
I think what this is Sporting KC. Is that what we're talking about?
No.
They didn't even make the playoffs. I got to tune in.
You too have to tune in.
I have to be there. I will be there. I will be there at the USA Hour. Okay, the other club I wanted to talk about, the other sort of hot. See, it's not hot, but I named the episode, Is It Time to Start Asking Questions? Because this Vincent Kompany Bayern München thing has been going very well. Very few complaints. However, the first cracks are starting to show as they have lost their last 2 Champions League road games, which from what I understand is the first time that has ever happened or something, at least in recent history. Like Bayern München has never lost 2 games in a row at the Champions League, like ever, which I guess something like that.
I guess they're missing the group stage. They were exceptionally good at the group stage.
Yeah, this league phase isn't helping them.
Now there's no group stage. Now it's like 36-team table, and they're behind Celtic right now.
Ooh. Well, what I will say is them going to Villa and losing to Villa was pretty dang surprising. And it was like, all right, maybe we'll just throw that out to Bad Night in the Office. But then they went to Barcelona to face our old friend Hansi Flick, former Bayern München coach, who won the Königsklasse, the Champions League, under Hansi Flick. And Barcelona really took good care of them. It was a 4-1 win. You know, and this is a Barcelona with an aging Lewandowski. And, you know, I guess they have a Yamin Lamal and whatnot. But Barcelona... Well, I'm saying Barcelona, you know, Barcelona has cracks themselves, but this year under Hansi Flick, which was a huge question mark for us, right? When this happened, I was like, I don't know how this is going to turn out. Seems like it's turning out really well.
Yeah.
Because Barcelona took care of Bayern München, then they took care of Real Madrid 4-0 over the weekend. The same team that beat Borussia Dortmund 5-2. Now a few days later, which again does not bode well for the Nuri Sahin defenders. And so are you chalking it up to just Barcelona being really good, or does Bayern München need to worry a little bit?
Well, I think a little bit of both, maybe. I don't know if the I mean, it used to be the other way around, right? Under Nagelsmann and really anybody, even Tuchel, they were crushing the Champions League but struggled a little bit in the league. So this is new territory. So I don't have an answer. I think the team is good. They did get creamed against Barcelona. It was kind of close for a little bit. Like the result is I thought maybe a little misleading, but yeah. I mean, how important is the Champions League to them?
Utmost important every year. However, because they have not won because they're not defending league champions, if they had a strong domestic double season this year and a poor performance in Europe, I think that would be forgiven. I think Vincent Kompany would be forgiven for that. and I think that'd be fine with the Bayern brass right now because they had a pretty tumultuous couple of years they're trying to settle from over at FC Hollywood, starting from the Kahn Blatzo cannings on the final day of them winning the league. Just been pretty crazy over there, Bayern. So if they settle, then leading up to them firing their two big expensive coaches, and Julian Nagelsmann and Thomas Tuchel, only for them to scrap and find Vincent Kompany after no one wanted the job. They have a little bit of a fallout they have to deal with their new CEO and the gang, and with Max Eberl and Driesen and Vincent Kompany. So I think if they have a poor European showing this year, but a strong domestic showing, I think that'll be just fine because they're essentially stabilizing. But, that's also spoken a little too soon. Moving forward, they've got Benfica. They've got PSG, which is a big game, but PSG is manageable. I think of all the big teams, PSG is the least frightening. Shakhtar Donetsk, and Feyenoord, and then last but not least, they host Slovan Bratislava. So they have a very manageable remaining schedule. I mean, at Barcelona was their toughest match. They lost it terribly. At Aston Villa was the sneaky, I guess, their second toughest match. So they have a softer schedule moving forward, and it's still manageable for them. But
it was a pretty poor week, except for Stuttgart. Stuttgart got the big win at Juve. Stuttgart are the opposite. They are now struggling in the league, but they're doing pretty well. Well, I mean, this was their first win, so it's not like they're doing that well. But I still was impressed with them at the Real Madrid game, even though they lost that game. I thought, Stuttgart is showing up at the Champions League to tussle. And they did tussle. They missed a penalty, and I was like, this is not meant to be. But then they still won. So good. Yeah, that was the one bright spot in an otherwise pretty poor Champions League week for
of the five German games. There were 3 losses, 1 tie. Leverkusen tied Brest, I believe, and then Stuttgart was the only win because RB Leipzig lost to Liverpool. Bayern lost heavily, and Borussia Dortmund lost heavily. Leipzig didn't lose heavily. I think it was a 1-0 loss, right?
Right.
And then
at home to Liverpool, I guess there's no shame in that.
Yeah, I mean, you'd want to maybe do at home. You want to do a little better, but overall, no, it was a very disappointing week, midweek. But like I said, it's this league phase. How are you taking? We're 4 weeks in now. How are you? 3 weeks in.
3 weeks.
How are you into the league phase? Do you miss the group stage?
No, I still think it's cool. I like the big table. I mean, there's just a lot of movement constantly. Obviously, Celtic was really high after game 1. Then they dropped very far in game 2. Then they got a point at Atalanta. That was so now they're back. I mean, there's just big swings. So I think that's kind of interesting.
We're not going to get a sense of who's in trouble until like match day 7, I think.
That's true. And we're also not going to. I mean, it still seems like, a point per game, it might be enough to sneak into the qualifier. So you may just need 8-9 points might be enough. So it's pretty forgiving. And right now we have 3 Premier League teams on top. So I fear that may also then become the norm, that the English teams will be favored by this modus operandi. So we'll have to see about that. We'll have to see.
Screw the English teams. I root for them to lose every year.
All right. Well, they're not right now.
They will. We'll see. I mean, maybe Aston Villa will win the whole thing. I mean, if that happens, then
it's hard.
Boy, will it be egg on my face.
3 games, 3 wins. I mean, they are a solid team. It's not like they're nothing to sneeze at as a group. So it's not that they're no pushovers. They're not the Villa of old. But we'll see. I mean, I guess that would be a little less fun if it's just the English teams up top and Barcelona and Real Madrid. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see as it gets. Right now, I'm still interested. I'm still intrigued.
And Stuttgart beat the mighty Weston McKennie. I mean, it's almost impossible, but he pulled it off. Well done, Stuttgart. Well done. Over the weekend, the Bundesliga, like I said, Bayern and Leipzig up top. And then today we had the Pokal.
Mm-hmm.
You
got to play your jingle.
Yeah, because we're focusing on coach this week. So we had a guy fired in Peter Zeidler. Nuri Sahin's seat extra hot. Pellegrino Matarato's seat pretty hot. And that's probably about it right now. Victor Company's seat isn't hot. I'm just, it's just time to take a look, maybe a little. We'll keep an eye on that Bayern PSG game in a couple of weeks. And then the second division, we got our eyes on a guy. Where's my stuff? We got our eyes in the second division, and I'll be telling you, he has been proving me wrong this year.
Well, let's hit it.
Darüber mit Gerhard Struber.
For my white boys, also very important, and for my black boys. And
Struber. Yeah, that's him. Gerhard Struber.
Huge success. Huge success today.
He beat a Bundesliga team today, 3-0, right? It wasn't even close. Or am I missing?
Yeah.
Cole
No, you're
beat
right.
someone.
Holstein Kiel, Bundesliga team for now.
Yeah. But if you told someone 5 years ago that Köln was a second division team and Holstein Kiel was a top flight team, they'd be like, so
Yeah.
traditionally that score
That
is
is
not
true.
surprising.
However,
However, in the
yeah.
modern era, that score is surprising. Holstein Kiel not doing well, but again, for a club like that, maybe a war on two fronts is never easy. So now they can quote unquote focus on the Bundesliga and staying in the Bundesliga. But FC Köln's success continues. Let's keep an eye. Hold on. Where's Köln? So they move on in the Pokal, and where are they in the Zweiten Bundesliga?
Oh, they're
are
like 8th or whatever, right?
They're 12th.
12th
place. Okay, so they're not doing well in the Bundesliga 5. Okay,
Nope.
but they are doing well. They are doing well in the Pokal.
They survived the cup.
Survived the cup. But yeah, 12th in the second division is not looking good, Struber. Not looking good, Struber. And I apologize, I don't look super closely like I should, especially with all the Kölners following the podcast. They lost to Paderborn last Friday at home. They lost 5-1 in Darmstadt the week before that. And then they lost to Gomrik Chapra. Why are they in Poland playing games? That's a club friendly. So
Nuremberg beat Regensburg 8-3. What kind of result is that? That's like a football score.
was that in the Pokal today?
No, that was over the weekend in the Zweite Bundesliga.
Oh, Bundesliga 2. Well, good for them. Maybe we should watch. There is a game of the week every week. They only show one game over here, I think. Nuremberg over Regensburg, and those are regional neighbors, right? That's the only thing. They're only a couple hours apart from each other.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
8 goals. Yeah, what was that all about? 3 goals from Julian Justvan, goal from Lucas, and then an own goal there at the end. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different players with a goal, and then one guy with a hat trick. And Jan Regensburg still scored 3 goals. That game would have been a blast to attend, I'm sure. You don't get those games every day. And I believe Nuremberg has a yank abroad, one Nathaniel Brown, who I don't see him listed here, so maybe he didn't play. Also, sorry if that information is not correct. Daniel Brown, footballer. No, he went to Eintracht Frankfurt. Never mind.
All right.
He was at Nuremberg up until recently. No, he's back at Nuremberg on loan, but he's owned by Eintracht Frankfurt. Sorry, I'm getting my act together here. He is on Nuremberg on loan, apparently. All right. Anywho, that's been the Bundesliga 2. That's been the Pokal.
Catching you up.
That's been the Champions League.
Catching you up on everything. So we have more Pokal tomorrow, and then we have Bundesliga again this weekend. with no the festival of glory for Bochum continues on the road in Frankfurt. Week 2 of playing the top 4 teams in a row of the league, basically. Bayern against Union Berlin, but the big one's on Friday. Bayer Leverkusen against VfB Stuttgart.
The Spitzenduell of the new boys on the block.
Except Stuttgart is 8th, so not really. But
it'll still be a fun game.
That's
the battle of the hot new coaches.
It's das Verfolgerduell. Das Verfolgerduell.
Absolutely.
Or I should say it like Derek Ray. Das Verfolgerduell.
Das Verfolgerduell. So look at the Bundesliga 2 real quick to go back for a second.
What?
Hamburg, Hertha, Nürnberg, Kaiserslautern, Köln, and Schalke are all outside of the promotion spot. They're 5th and below. And Schalke is 15th. They are tied with Eintracht Braunschweig in the relegation zone. I mean, Schalke is not looking great. And 1 point beneath them is Boysen Münster with Jan Regensburg 4 points to the bottom. The 8-3 losers. I mean, as a Bochum man, you can always look at Jan Regensburg and just be like, at least I'm not Jan Regensburg. We're getting creamed by Bayern, at least. We're not getting creamed by Nuremberg.
That's true. Well, we got creamed by Jan Regensburg in the cup, though.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I guess you can't look down at Jan Regensburg. What's your excuse? Jan Regensburg is like, we're a tiny club. What's your excuse? Anywho, do you have any other big, bad topics you want to talk about in the German
I do not.
Sphere?
I do not.
It's a going. It's early in the season.
We gotta go onward to the MLS playoffs. We got playoffs.
As the German soccer sphere is slowly heating up, it's not even at a boil. The American soccer sphere is at quite the boil as we are nearing the finish line in our playoffs mode in Major League Soccer.
The very uneven, the very weirdly scheduled and organized MLS playoffs where there's like a million games and then there's no games for a few weeks and then there's 2 more games and then there's 1 more game in the middle of winter and that's it.
And there's no games on Saturday for some reason, but there's a
no.
game
All
on
the games
Tuesday
are on Monday,
3.
or on Thursday at 9 a.m.
Yeah, 3:45. MLS, man, they got their quirks, man. If you're a true fan, you'll find it. You'll find what network it's on. You'll find the kickoff time, which today for me was 3:56 p.m. Western time.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll find it. You'll watch it.
But it was all worth it. It was all worth it for you.
Yeah.
Your whole room is aglow in that red. You wearing the red shirt. It's the.
I couldn't find my jersey, so I wore a red
Anyway,
shirt.
we'll talk about it. I have things to say. We'll talk about it on the other side.
Tschüss. Buy stuff on the Etsy shop. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Join our family here at the Schnitzel family. We're usually live on Monday nights. We're doing a special Tuesday, but we should be back next Monday. Tschüss, bis dann.
Good night.